Hey everybody, it's Informed the Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Nick. Welcome to Star Trek Discovery.
Yep. Last time travel fun with Harry Mudd.
I adore that episode. I don't remember what this episode's about, but I saw the title and my only reaction was, I know that Latin.
Yeah. Oh well, that's
It's
the
fine.
thing. Yeah.
As long as I'm plugged into it, it won't turn off unless the batteries go dead.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we had the time travel fun last time. Before that, we had
There was a Gormagander. The
yeah,
Spice Whale.
the space whale that wasn't a whale. It was in space. Just because everybody wants to call any living thing in space a space whale now. That's just
It's become a trope.
Yeah.
Save the space whales, Alan.
I mean, all the flack they get from the Star Wars fandom, damn right they need some saving. Yeah. Purgle need love too, but wrong franchise.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll never be.
I do believe we're actually back to plot this episode, just if I remember the arc of the season.
Yeah. We had the Admiral was kidnapped, taken by the Klingons. Because they were trying to get Sarek, but then the Admiral showed up instead because Sarek had a thing and there was a mind meld.
Yeah, and then they cling on to the shit out of that meeting. Just, our gracious host, stab, stab, stab. Yeah, you're our prisoner now.
Yep.
This is better than a Vulcan. This works.
Yep.
Vulcans will just let their own rot. Humans? Y'all show up. It's great. Y'all are predictable.
Yeah. All right. I don't have anything else in particular, so want to just jump into this?
Engage. I feel that's the equivalent in a sci-fi series to fire at will. Which one's will?
It put a smile on my face, that line. May I trouble you for firing at something?
Yeah, blow some shit up. We're only at war, you know. I'm not sure, but I don't remember if we've actually gotten good shots like that of these Klingon ships before. With these birds of war, these actually don't look all that different to me. They just seem to be missing, the long neck to it.
The wings they're wings, but beyond that,
that one is clearly, radically different.
yeah.
But
The birds of prey are...
There were a couple that had those real nice forward sweeps that honestly just looked like a cleaner redesign.
Well, I remember the birds of prey. They kind of went down rather than forward. But I've said that I don't want to keep rehashing these things every single episode. But
I was just about to say.
Played enough of the
we know you're not a fan of the Klingons. I don't know. I
don't want to
designs.
be. I don't want to be that guy who just won't shut up about that thing.
I've
expressed my opinion. I've expressed my opinion. It's on the record. I don't need it to be. At this point, I just want to concentrate on the story.
That's fair.
Until the next big cock up happens in the canon, and then I can rag on that for a while.
Then the Borg apparently joining Starfleet.
She looks like Nebula.
Little bit.
Yeah. Oh. That's right.
Called Tilly Captain and addressed her by her last name. And Tilly gets called by her last name so rarely, I don't know what her last name is.
Damn.
Saru is secretly a badass. Fuck, what are the rules for first contact? I'm a gunner.
All right, no, it's not that it's first contact. It's a cloud, non-corporeal life form that is never good.
Yeah, no, energy-based beings in Trek.
Being, never good.
Yeah, vague, nebulous blue cloud. They should be running.
Correction, they want you to accompany them.
They are legion, for they are many.
I think you just get outvoted. Yeah, the general has the best looking outfit thus far.
All of the Klingons are going to start looking a lot more like that very quickly. They all maintain sort of a unique flavor house to house, but that is the look that once they were really under production, they started taking. Like, there's a reason I was so adamant about, like, don't shit on the crappy bone chitness armor too hard. It's not here long. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Flashing to all the times we pointed out Saru's threat ganglia probably should have fired.
Yeah.
See, that raises questions about like how his species was hunted, because Lorca had a gun on him, and apparently gun does not imprint as a threat.
Yeah.
Insert troll argument about how it's a tool, not a weapon.
Well, I would imagine in that case it's more a matter of whether or not he instinctually believes that Lorca would use the gun or not.
I like that. She has a sword caddy. I missed that the first time. She has a fucking sword caddy. That's a professional right there. And just machete across the bottom.
Please tell me that's a meme somewhere.
Oh, I have no idea, but I hope it is too, because that is such a like great interaction.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I hope they did that like 80 times and were like hoarse by the end of it, just like losing their minds redoing that take. It's minor, but it's fun.
Oh, yeah. They didn't wait long on that. Well, that's right.
I'd like to point out, we don't know how many times they did it in the time loop.
True.
Do they know how many times they did it in the time loop?
Stamets knows how many times. See, that's why Stamets is all fucked up this episode. He's just like, that many times. And no lube. I mean, just impressive. Stamets referring back to his dickish nature we saw in the first few episodes. This is why you shouldn't date coworkers. Just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say there's conflict of interest here, just on the basis of it.
Like I get it. You're in the Federation. It was probably inevitable you were going to meet someone else in the Federation. But fuck, dude. Patak is like one of the very few Klingon words that I know and can use properly. That and kapla. Before next session, we're going to want to pop those batteries to be safe. Yeah, because that's always a good sign in Trek. Someone gets touched by a being of light. Looks up with galaxy eyes. Yeah, no, that's never worrying.
Oh, yeah.
He's out of Starfleet regs. You notice he's not in his away team gear anymore?
And crush. Yep.
We're getting new comm badges next week.
He's joined a non-corporeal cult.
I mean...
That's certainly how he's acting.
You know, he's ahead of the curve. He doesn't have to shave his head when the comet shows up.
Will his ganglia be affected by the Kool-Aid?
God, those nails look gnarly. I think technically this violates the Bechdel test because they are bitching about a guy, just not one that either one of them wants to fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I think the core lesson of the Bechdel test is being failed here, even if it's not violating the letter of it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they passed it because they started by talking about prison reform and they seem to like each other. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe, but...
Now they're fighting, which is basically Klingon 4. I like to apply the reverse Bechdel anytime two guys are on screen talking about a girl.
Ooh. I'm not opposed
It
to
happens
that.
a lot.
I'm not opposed to that. From now on, I only watch movies that pass the reverse Bechdel test. No locker room talk whatsoever. They have to stay on task the entire runtime. That's how I know I'm a grown-ass man. I don't have time for that shit anymore. See, this scene's tough for me. Like, usually I can find a way to empathize with just about any character, good, bad, irrelevant other motivations. Usually I can see the point someone's trying to make. I've never understood the pure revenge motive. Like I understand the idea of getting even. Like, I do understand that. But when it's a pound of flesh, I don't think that ever gets made equal. Something's always out of whack on that.
Well, it's not a logical mathematical thing. It's a pure instinctual drive type.
And I do feel it's a failure of empathy because it's an inability to correlate it to my own life experience. Like,
I mean, like I can understand it. I can't relate to people like that. I've never been that level of mad before.
Yeah, no, you've never wanted to.
Like, I've had things that I thought would make me that mad, but at the end of the day, like, I expect to be, just raging to the point of not being able to control myself. But then, I'm mad, but I'm still in control of myself.
Oh yeah,
it's still a conscious decision to do what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, no, my anger has definitely driven me to do some tasteless things, but it's never driven me to do something truly spiteful. Like, God, how fast is fucking Saru?
I believe they said up to 80 miles an hour.
Kilometers.
Okay. Fucking metric system.
The imperial system dies the death at some point.
That's it. Turn it off. They use the metric system.
Oh, that's your bitch fit this episode. Okay.
No. It can't be. They always use the metric system in Star Trek, so that would be very hypocritical of me. Pile of dead Klingons.
Yeah, her family.
Oh.
Yeah, her family and the few loyalists that were still working, like basically the holdovers from the previous regime.
Right, yeah.
Which I don't believe they expressly say she's it for the previous regime, but I mean, it's the Klingons. They tend to be thorough with shit like that.
Is the Admiral dead?
At least unconscious.
Well, cut to black after having the shit kicked out of her and a Klingon being like...
We weren't paying 100% attention. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss her getting stabbed in the heart or something.
Oh, no, she didn't. I mean, blunt force trauma could still totally do her in.
It's currently ambiguous.
Yes.
Okay.
Mule kicks hurt. There's always a stick. You ever notice that?
I mean, why not? They're in a forest.
He just took a full power stun bolt and was like, meh.
Yeah.
Two.
And he's still mostly okay. They can apparently teleport, too.
Looks like TV CGI.
Kind of reminds me of in Generations, where Soren is trying to get back to the Nexus.
Okay.
Because of the feeling of it, the absolute joy and peace you experience in the Nexus.
Okay, yeah.
It's that kind of same sort of.
I mean, as a general rule, anytime something brings Malcolm McDowell joy, it's probably not good for the rest of us. I want to hire that guy to paint models for me because he got that much coverage with his fucking fingers. Want to see what that guy can do with an alcohol wash.
I wonder if they're trying to make them into the Organians. In the original series, the Organians were an extremely powerful race who stopped the war between the Federation and the Klingons.
Ah. So,
Anyways,
we've seen things are not all well in the various Klingon houses.
Yep, it's about what you expect. One, I mean, strictly speaking, the general basically just did what Tecumber was going to do. His motives are just a lot more, selfish.
Yeah, I was about to say he's getting a lot more profit out of that.
Yeah, I mean, but
that cable's dead.
Yeah, the whole point with Tecumber was though I have this cloak ship and I got.
Meant for that.
I've got one I can leave with you guys.
Yeah.
I've got one I can leave with you guys. It's fine.
But I mean, he was going to use his cloak and his, the whole that special ship they found or whatever to get everybody to listen and do what he wanted.
Yeah, I mean, like from a military standpoint, I think the new guy's Cole is a little better.
Well, he's a military leader, not
he's also a bit of a
shitbag. Oh yeah, but that's just,
how do you feel about giving us a noble Klingon to root for and follow? Which, admittedly, we've been following her since episode 1.
True,
she's been around.
Though, admittedly, in this era, the Klingons aren't supposed to be as noble. That's supposed to be more of a characteristic that they kind of develop.
Oh, and I don't think she's
later on.
I don't feel she's the norm, especially from what we've been shown. I feel she's a paradigm shift culturally. She represents what's coming.
She's part of a fanatical splinter religious group, so like by definition.
Well, honestly, I feel like the way she's behaving here actually shows that she's much more pragmatic. Is she religious? Yes.
Well, true, but I mean, she was part of that group.
Yeah. Well, it's a case of like, well, okay, there's a big difference between somebody who goes to church every Sunday and somebody who goes to Westboro Baptist every Sunday. There's a big fucking difference.
Well, yeah, but you were making a point about her being not in the norm. And I'm saying, yeah, she's part of a small minority group within the empire. By definition, that's what she is. But
okay, I just wanted to make sure we weren't maligning the good name of Kalis.
From Enterprise, think of it as the Sirenites.
Remind me.
In the arc where the Archer and T'Pol are on Vulcan, and he ends up with Surak's Katra in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sirenites are those group of people
who follow, okay, yes. Sorry.
Surak's original teachings.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I'm rusty on vocab. As much as I genuinely enjoy Star Trek, and I get a lot of joy out of this franchise, I don't know it well. I've got a few nuggets of deep lore that I can treasure forever and throw at serious nerds to get them to take me seriously, but no. I know the Trivial Pursuit version of Star Trek, how many temporal issues has Kirk caused according to the Internal Starfleet Agency? 13!
But, the whole planet thing was both an enjoyable and an irritating setup.
Yeah, the tuning fork planet. I'm hit or miss on the framing device.
Yeah, no. Okay,
no. I really liked the first time I watched this. I really liked the episode because we got to spend a lot of time with Saru, and I've been curious about him from minute one because of the excellent creature effects and makeup on him. But this was one of the first times, aside from the very first time when we got him as captain, we got alone time with him. This is the first time you really get to see how he ticks. What's important to him.
This is the first time I've really kind of sympathized with or felt for Saru. When he started talking about how, as a Kelpian, he's always afraid, and that was the first time in his life ever he was not afraid.
Oh, speaking
that got my attention. That made me really pay attention to Saru and get in his head.
To offer up the real contrast, my failure to emphasize with Tyler is accented by the extreme identification I feel to Saru in that moment. Not only because everyone can relate to feeling fear, but yeah, from my personal perspective, I feel I spent a lot of my life scared of the world around me, and it wasn't until a very set list of things happened and I experienced them did I understand what the world was, how I fit into it, and why I shouldn't be afraid. Saru, I feel, is an excellent self-insert character. He's important, but he doesn't seem to override anybody else, and he gets his own unique development. You get time with him, but think about where was Saru last episode?
Yeah.
On the bridge, presumably, for every loop.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, yeah, I mean, the whole idea of the planet where they're coming in contact with the alien species, it presents kind of that idea of the harmony or whatever, that kind of mindset that's
also impressive.
It's, for lack of a better word.
It's a mapped M-class planet. Nobody landed on it to check it out before? I have to believe the Pavans would have said hello to anyone.
I mean, it was probably only detected by a probe, a long-range probe. Given the sheer number of M-class planets that would be in a galaxy, the Starfleet being able to land actual personnel on all of them.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm assuming basic Goldilocks rules by the conditions we understand in the real world, which I know on a galactic scale means, there's a lot of planets that
millions,
have developed
at
life.
least millions.
But it's one of those things, like, I have to believe, like, anything where it's, like, that significantly developed, where, like, it's just the entire thing's covered. That's a garden world when you get right down to it.
Still talking about thousands, at least tens of thousands of planets that would qualify on that, just within Federation space.
Well, that's just it. It's multiple species exploring. People have been at this a while. I just find it interesting that nobody sent anything that, like, established meaningful contact. Like, that's what's surprising to me. Like, resources tend to not go unmapped.
I'm not gonna go down the math rabbit hole with you here.
Well, no. I'm thinking about it like gold claims. Like, think about like during the Californian gold rush. Like, there was a whole slew of people that their entire thing was just figuring out where the gold was.
Yeah,
they weren't going to mine it. They weren't even going to own the land.
In valid comparison, because the proportions are so pardon the pun, astronomically
no,
different
hear me
that
out.
It invalidates the comparison.
I realize it's not a direct comparison. My point here is, though, even if resources aren't being directly claimed, we tend to figure out where the hell they are. And I have to believe that any spacefaring civilization that like has like colonies, has like exploratory fleets, like okay, so they find it by long range probe. There's not a secondary probe that they send to the planet's surface to get more information?
It depends on what they actually find. And number two, there are so many out there.
I mean, it's sending a signal into space. Isn't that weird enough to warrant investigation?
Well, that might also just be the first time maybe they did finally got around to sending a secondary probe, and that is what detected the signal, and now they're dealing with it. How many planets, M-class planets, does Starfleet find in a year on average, right? If it's like 100 or something, more than 100 or something like that, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
even for Starfleet.
I also just want to make sure on the terms we're using to make sure that I'm clear. M-class refers to size and habitation level. It has to have both.
Not explicitly size, though size is generally a factor in it.
Because doesn't it need to have something like close to near-Earth gravity, like with a range because of the various Starfleet species, and a atmosphere, not necessarily breathable, but a gas atmosphere?
An M-class planet is a planet that is easily habitable.
Yeah. Which I always assumed. See, I always assumed that would have a size requirement because of gravitational forces.
There's a difference between, like, that's not the pure definition. I mean, I don't remember all the classifications. I have a book that has all this in it, but because there's like I think it's a P-class planet, which is also usually has oxygen, nitrous atmosphere, all that can be Earth size, but it usually has considerably less land mass. They're basically ocean worlds. Where there's very, very little land mass, no land mass, that would be a P-class planet instead of an M-class planet. Even though environmentally speaking, it's just as livable, you just got to find some place to fucking,
Okay.
stand. But
well, no, it's just a case of like
but
I do understand the point you're getting at with like how vast the actual amount of space is, that the statistical spread of things. There's going to be a metric fuck ton of them. I don't know. This one just seems very unique to me, to the point that like it seems strange that it took this long, especially because they went in with a fairly sophisticated understanding.
Also, do we know where that planet is?
No, not hyper-specifically.
That is not a planet or system I'm familiar with.
I mean, okay, somebody does. Let's be clear, somebody does.
Well, if not if they invented if they came up with any of that system for this episode.
Yeah, but somebody like internally on production has to have a continuity sheet and things like that for internal continuity for the writers. True. So they have to have a defined
My point
place.
is, though, if this planet is somewhere outside of Federation space and it's an area of space they just started going into, because it's not like the Federation is sending probes through the entire freaking galaxy simultaneously.
No,
because
that's
distance
true.
is still a thing.
That's true.
So it may very well just be that they just got to that planet.
I'm not going to make the argument anymore. Just I found it a little strange is all. I don't feel it invalidates the episode. It's still a pretty good episode.
But you started nerd talking. I nerd talked back.
No,
that's how this works.
I think you make cogent points. I do, and I understand the argument you're making. It's just from my standpoint, there's some extra variables here that just on the statistics side you'd think.
I mean, to me, the biggest issue is just...
Okay, for all I know, the next closest habitable planet was filled with nothing but topless women who are well-endowed, so of course everyone's going to be more interested. The men are well-endowed, too. Everyone's well-endowed. It's candy for everyone.
So you mean the Orion homeworld?
Why not? You know what? Actually, no. If that's in the Orion's backyard, all of a sudden I believe all of this.
It's also in their front yard. And the Alps.
If the Orions are just all over this mess, I get it.
I think that mic conked out.
It's low.
Okay.
I can hear the...
All right. But, anyways, no, the issue I have with the whole thing is, like, they've discovered the Klingons have cloaks, right?
Yes.
Never mind the fact that
very
they're getting
specifically now, most of them do.
Yeah, or they're spreading the cloaking technology around.
Because the admiral pointed out that it was 3 separate attack groups, and just for the sake of argument, let's say all 3 of those attack groups were kitted out the same.
Yeah.
So let's assume 6 ships, all 6 with stealth. That's 18 stealth ships.
Yeah. No, he
off
made the
bat.
point that they were spreading them around. They made that point. Yeah.
Well, it's just like from like an actual military rollout. The simple fact of the matter is, if you have more than one piece of tech in a squadron, that means everyone has it. They have mass production capability.
Well, no, I'm not arguing that. I'm not debating that.
What you see isn't all they have.
That's not a point I'm making.
Oh no! I'm just trying to lay that out for like the actual like crux of the war and like how the timeline's progressing, like in terms of like known Klingon technology.
It would also depend on how many ships they have. You don't know that in this context. I don't think they've said.
We do not.
So,
I'm assuming a couple thousand like proper strong fighting vessels, and the rest is support. No military functions without supply lines.
DS9 era Starfleet has thousands of ships. In this era, it's almost certainly less, simply because the Federation is going to be a little bit smaller at this point.
Well, no, I'm saying the Klingons.
Oh, the Klingons.
I think the Klingons like a standing warship army of like 1,000-2,000 ships, and the rest of their armada being support vehicles to keep those ships running and supplied.
Yeah. Harder to judge with them,
like makes sense to me. Like again, like this is all just nerd speculation. Yeah, I have no hard numbers.
The point I was actually trying to get to, that they've got all the Klingons have developing the cloaking technology now. They're deploying it en masse. Starfleet needs to deal with this. We're not getting a story about engineers developing any of the known actual historical countermeasures to cloaking technology.
Well, I assume those are plot lines in the show.
Or,
I have to assume those are like actual plot points later on.
I think anti-proton beams can also be used to help the cloaking devices.
Wasn't there a thing in DS9 where they just looked for where there was a hole in their sensor grid to be like, something's canceling everything out right here. That empty pocket has to be where the invisible ship is.
That would make too much sense.
I want to say it was in DS9 and Fighting the Dominions. Somebody had to pull that move.
That wouldn't be a cloaking thing because the Dominion doesn't use cloaking tech.
Yeah, that seems like a really poor.
That might be the episode where they're.
I think specifically it was a Romulan ship that was being looked for, but. Again, like it's
thing, but
we're relying on a stoner's memory for a plot point.
There's the one thing where the cloak Romulan ship is orbiting the station, and they manage to, once they know what they're looking for, they manage to home in on the quantum singularity at the center of its warp core.
That is probably what I'm thinking of.
That is probably what you're thinking
probably
of.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's not one of the usual methods of detecting a cloaked ship. The two that come to mind are the tachyon that they used in Next Generation to prevent the Romulans from crossing into Klingon territory.
I'm not sure what quantum locked particles moving through the time stream would do to displace invisibility, but okay. I love technobabble and tech nonsense.
It's the other way around. It's the other way around. They use it as a net, meaning like beams. It's the cloaked vessel disrupts that. Because it's not normal, because of the way tachyons presumably work. The cloaking technology is not capable of diverting them in a way that it does like normal light and other emissions.
That's just it. I don't know how tachyons work, and I'm fairly certain the writers don't either. But man, does it sound great! I'm not dismissing the technology. I'm just like, tech nonsense. I could be wrong,
but I'm almost 100% positive tachyons are theoretical.
To my understanding,
it is
actually
proven particles.
To my understanding, it's a theoretical fourth-dimensional particle, which is resulting for our interpretation of linear time.
Particles with negative mass.
That I had not heard as a definition. I've heard that for antimatter as a definition, though.
No. Antimatter has equivalent mass, different charge. An antiproton is exactly the same as a proton, except for it has a negative charge rather than a positive one.
I just knew it was a one-to-one cancellation effect when it comes in contact with normal matter, which is why the Mass Hadron Collider has to continuously run in order to maintain samples. That's my extent of knowledge. I've very much got a coffee table book level understanding of it.
No, my understanding of tachyons, to the extent that I understand tachyons, is that they're particles.
Isn't Trek magical?
Particles with negative mass, which means they're the opposite of normal matter, which means rather than the speed of light being an upper bound, it's a lower bound. If a tachyon actually existed, it would not be able to move any slower than the speed of light.
See, that seems terrifying and just brute concept, because speed of light's probably...
They are hypothetical particles.
Well, it's one of those things. I subscribe to the theory about the speed of light is probably the upper speed limit for physics. Like, things probably just don't function faster than that.
The speed of light is
the way we understand
the speed of light is the upper bound for movement of matter and energy. It is not the upper bound for movement entirely.
As a physical being made of meat matter, I'm equating it to its effects on matter.
We're seeing it right here in Star Trek. That's how a warp capable vessel moves. It warps, it distorts space-time itself, and it does so at speeds higher than the speed of light, because the universe itself, the fabric of space, is not bound by the upper bound.
Yeah, no, I always assumed. Assumed Star Trek used the not the idea of dimensional folding, but warping, where basically you shorten the distance in front of the ship and lengthen it behind it. I forget the fancy name for it, but the gravitational envelope that's created then. The Einstein theory for how you break speed of light.
Are you talking about Einstein-Rosen bridge?
No,
I don't think so.
That has to do with wormholes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure that's a stable link between 2 points that's shorter than the linear space between them.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right. It's a warp drive creates a subspace field that shortens space in front of the ship and expands it behind it at speeds higher than the speed of light, thus causing, technically the ship doesn't move at all.
Yeah, no, it's space bending around it.
The entire universe moves relative
to the ship. It's a Farnsworth engine.
Yeah. But
the design came to me in a dream.
Actually, I actually watched the video. I think it was Melody of Sheep, a Melody of Sheep video. I think you've heard of them, right? They do science videos.
I'm not terribly familiar, but I've been watching a lot of CNC Kitchen lately.
They do stuff. They've been doing a series about like the history of the universe.
Yeah.
Really high quality stuff. If you have not heard of Melody of Sheep and have not seen their videos on YouTube, find them.
I'm going to specifically search them out now.
Higher quality stuff than you will find on the fucking History Channel or the Discovery Channel for free. I swear. They only come out every several months because it takes them that long to work on those videos.
You guys talking about aliens?
Actually, yes. They've done some stuff on aliens. Really good stuff. But anyways.
I love the debate about aliens because if you get down to the brass tacks of it, mathematically, there is no way we are fucking alone.
Yeah. But one of the things
statistically,
one of the things
no
they do in one of their videos, the video they did, I think, on the future of the universe, where it's they project out exactly how the universe will end, its entire life history from now to the end.
Well, I mean, inevitable heat death, but
well, the idea that because the universe is expanding, right?
Yes.
And it's accelerating.
yes.
Because of that upper bound does not apply to space-time itself. Eventually, the universe will start moving. Things in the universe will start moving away from each other at faster than the speed of light. Galaxies and such.
Yeah.
Meaning that you will eventually get to the point where you will never be able to see other things out in space ever again, unless you have warp drive, because space will literally be moving.
The
faster
stars
than
will
the
turn
light
black,
coming
And that's
from
when
the item.
Cthulhu comes. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just to me is just it's kind of a mind-boggling kind of thing. The idea that
Cthulhu Fthagin.
That's the existential horror that H.P. Lovecraft fans are trying to tell you that racist was writing about. Like,
but
that's
anyways.
the reason I was like, hey, you should read the Necronomicon.
I mean, at its core, that's what the idea behind the Elder Gods and the blackness of eternity is.
yeah, but no, going back to this again. Yeah, just the idea that
Back
rather
to
than
less horrific monsters.
rather
in
than
space.
pursuing any like normal technological thing to deal with the cloaks, it's no, we found an alien planet that somehow is going to act as a sonar that will presumably let us detect cloaked ships anywhere in the galaxy quadrant. I don't like how the hell that would even work. Like
Just trust the technobabble, Alan.
I mean, at that point, screw looking for cloak ships. That would basically means you can find anything, anywhere, ever.
It's Star Trek Cerebro.
Well, even that's got limitations. That just lets you find sentient life forms. This would let you find your car keys 6 seconds
I am
over.
confident if Dr. X was bored enough, he could use Cerebro to do that.
Another thing I appreciate in this episode is the angle they're taking with eugenics stuff. And the idea of, because of the eugenics wars, humanity has that hang-up of gene modification.
Well, it went very badly for everyone.
Yeah.
That's
Especially since,
pre-space flight,
even in sleeper ships.
Well, okay.
Sleeper ships.
Pre-warp.
They had sleeper ships.
Yeah,
pre-warp.
drive. That's what-
Yeah,
we
because
have space flight
wasn't the
now.
Vulcans showing up what ultimately ended, what was it? Because World War III had already happened.
It was the Vulcans showed up 10 years after the end of the Third World War.
Okay. I just knew it was after World War III, which I know is also not the eugenics wars, but...
No, the eugenics wars happened in the 90s. World
Yeah.
War III was either in or ended in 2053.
Because eugenics war is the thing where there's the DS9 episode when they're doing time travel and they end up there for a hot minute, and there's like a soldier who's just like doing drugs on patrol because he's getting like heroin hits every time he does his job and shit.
No, I don't, there wasn't a DS9 episode dealing with the eugenics wars.
I have deep memories
There's
of
a time
Bashir
travel.
and
There's a time travel episode where they go back to 2024. I think it is. That has to do with the sanctuary districts. The Gabriel Bell thing, the thing where Cisco gets mistaken for Gabriel Bell.
yes. And there's
Yeah.
and there when they get arrested at the start of that whole mess, like Cisco has the whole thing about like, yeah, no, those tubes that he's sucking on, they're delivering narcotics to keep him compliant.
Yeah, but that's not the eugenics wars.
I thought that was.
That's in 2024, I think. The eugenics wars happened in the 90s.
My mistake.
Yeah. But
So we got that to look forward to.
no, especially since they make it they make this point in Enterprise. It's not all Federation species inherently that have that hang up about like gene modification.
Yeah.
It's a very human thing because the Denobulans use it all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, well, the Denobulans do everything all the time except for sleep. That is the one thing the Denobulans do not do to excess.
You know what I've come to believe? The Denobulans are the Federation's version of Australians.
Good day, mate. I am here for this.
I mean, just think about it. Look at Flux.
Okay.
He's always happy.
Okay, now does their homeworld have a small moon that orbits it that is also habitable that would be Space New Zealand? If they're the Australians, we need a New Zealand. They need a very close neighbor that is culturally almost identical but hates them for some reason.
Maybe not even Alden, but Flux is Australian because his attitude, he's.
I'm now just like mentally adding a can of Foster's to every Phlox scene, and you know what? It's not ruining anything.
And his home is full of deadly creatures that can either kill or harm you.
And he's just like, aren't they beautiful?
Exactly. Phlox is a space Australian.
Australia, where everything's beautiful and wants to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are like so over time.
Yeah. All right.
Not really.
So
you're only at an hour 10.
This is only an hour. Okay, we started later than I thought we did.
Yeah. No. Okay. But yeah. We're all right. But I still think we're. Yeah. I had the. I wanted to mention the eugenics thing. Beyond that, I don't think there was anything in here that was too. Anything else that was? I mean, we had the Admiral apparently she got away. I missed that.
Though where they left it off was she got dropped in the pile of corpses. I don't believe they cut back to her this episode.
Well, because she was saying, she just told the general that she got away, so she's presumably hiding her. Okay, all right, that makes. But didn't he say after he put the paint on her face? Didn't he basically say, "Psych, bitch"?
No, the paint on her face was like, some shit went down. A prisoner tried to escape and arguably had you, at knife point. Like, you did some shit for me. I'm gonna need a good interrogator. You've just proven your loyalty by dealing with her when she tried to bust out. Like,
but didn't he say something like right after that that was basically
basically that if you disappoint me, I'll still kill you because hey, Klingons.
Because I could swear he basically told the guards take her away, and they kind of dragged her off, and she was like, "What the fuck?"
Very well. Good night, Wesley. I'll likely kill you on the morrow.
It's all a power play thing where it's like, no, I'm going to keep you alive because I view you as useful, but I don't trust you at all.
I got to go back and rewatch that
Yeah,
scene.
no, it's a series of subtlety plays, which is very interesting from Klingons.
But, yeah, I mean, that was pretty much...
good Adventure of the Week episode.
Yeah, we had the Klingons and the thing with Saru were our two big points there. A
little bit of movement with the Admiral, but not much.
And the thing with Stamets, yeah. We got a little more information on what's going on with Stamets.
The weird invitation at the end.
Don't know how that quite explains the mirror image thing of him.
If I may simply postulate, as we know he's jumping dimensional lines here, just the mirror tells us that much implicitly, and like the random obvious matter shifting when they go to Black Alert, like that's just pretty implicit. Yeah. Just throwing this out there, what if it's the overlay of someone in a different universe?
Yeah. Well, that would be the obvious assumption because, I mean, that's just a trope in sci-fi.
Well, I'd like to point out...
The copy on the other side of the mirror.
He still recognized Tilly as Tilly, but he addressed her very differently. Yeah. So it's... No, I have memories. I'm still Stamets. I still know who I am, but things don't fit. And that, to me at least, seems congruent with the idea
dimensional shifting.
Yeah, it's a fish out of water thing.
Oh, yeah. That's... It's almost the reverse, kind of like the reverse thing that happened to Worf that one time. Because Worf started shifting, actually physically shifting between dimensions, whereas here it might be something like Stamets' consciousness is like, his memories are being switched out, rather. It's the other dimension coming into his reality rather than him going into another dimensional reality.
Yeah, rather than the vessel moving around, just the contents of the vessel are changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That was a good thing to bring up.
I really hope it doesn't turn out to be the mirror universe because it's so goddamn on the nose. But and And it's also just generally not how that's ever worked. But since when does that show care about that? The show care about that? Next thing you know, the
later introduction to the Mirrorverse was the official first time crossed over.
No, there's a Spock episode with that shit.
Yeah, the Mirror Universe originates in the original series.
I thought the original series thing was supposed to be the first time there was contact between.
Oh yeah. Well, but again, like I said, the show quite often doesn't care about that. Seem to not care about that.
Gotcha.
But.
Well, okay, yeah. I'd like to point out, to my understanding, the original series makes no reference to Section 31, but are you going to tell me Section 31 doesn't exist right now?
Well, yeah, it's stated to exist during this time.
Yeah, but it's one of those things.
But it's also a secret underground, covert organization. It doesn't have to be mentioned.
I didn't know there was an underground in space. I'm proud of myself.
There's lots of under in space.
Right now, but my hands are too cold to take out of my pockets.
I know there's no air in space, but there is an air in space museum.
You'd better wrap this before he goes too far.
You love me.
That's the sad part. That's the really sad part.
What would you say, 12 parsecs too far?
Bill, I think I have Stockholm Syndrome.
Then we're ahead of schedule. In any case, I've been Nick.
I continue to be Alan.
Check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher,
Spotify.
Yeah, all those fun places.
Like,
comment,
subscribe, hit the bell for notifications.
Yeah, fun new trick we're doing in the comments. Comment what you guys would like to see us reacting to. Are there projects you'd like us to take on? We're currently looking for new things to do, new things to watch. Let us know what you guys like. We're here to serve an audience, and y'all are our audience.
Yep. With that, we are Informed and Confused.
And, we already said our names, so have a good one.
Yep.